It has been an absolute insane season for sockeye so far on the Columbia River and up at Brewster Pool. Absolutely crazy how many fish have actually come up over the dams on the Columbia River so far. Over 730,000 sockeye have come up and over dams in the Columbia River, and they are making their way to different tributaries as well as the Okanagan River to go up into Canada to spawn. Absolutely crazy. People have been destroying the fish day in, day out, but there's a million different setups, and I'm going to give you guys my 3 go-to setups that help me catch 95% of my sockeye, as well as I'm going to go over the Coon Shrimp and how to doctor up that so you guys can get more bite stimulants and more bites while you're out sockeye fishing. It's going to be 105 degrees for the next week or so over there at Brewster, and so why not speed up those fish hitting the cooler so you guys can get into some cooler places versus sitting under that 105 degree sun all day long. But enough talking. Welcome back to another Walking on Water tutorial. Let's get right into it. I am setting up all of my gear right now with you guys in preparation for my trip here in the next couple of days. I'm going to be spending 3 or so plus nights in Brewster, and we are going to be targeting sockeye in the morning as well as upriver Chinook salmon in the afternoon and evening time. So we're going to go over the complete sockeye guide, everything you guys are going to need to know from start to finish, exactly. I mean, I'm talking absolutely everything, and you guys will be absolutely dialed for these sockeye. There is no cooling down weather in the forecast. All I can see is hot days coming. That Okanagan River, that thermal deadly barrier is not going to subside anytime soon. We have a lot of sockeye fishing left to do this year, guys. And so let's go over absolutely every single thing that I do to set up in preparation for sockeye. And we're going to do that right now. I got to get my bag of goodies out. Okay, we got a bunch of stuff in preparation, stuff that we had, stuff that we didn't have, and we will go over all of this stuff right now. Okay, I am using Gamakatsu size 1 hooks. I like using the red hooks. Yes, this is an octopus hook. Yes, there are better hooks out there on the market that you can use that are going to hold the sockeye on just a little bit better. But this was what was at my disposal. Sickle hooks are really good. Big River bait hooks are really good if you can find them in red. I was not able to do so in time. But these will 100% get the job done. There are plenty of fish in that river, and these red size 1 Gamakatsu hooks are going to absolutely do work for me while I'm up there at Brewster Pool. Now, we're going to go into exactly how to tie up our initial setup, and as you can see here, I have a ruler. This is a foot long, and I'm utilizing this ruler so you guys can get a visual aid, okay? I tie all of my setups to where the eye, first of all, I tie all of my setups with 2 hooks, okay? It's called a non-slip mooching rig, okay? 1 hook above the other. That's what we're going to do right now, okay? I am using 15-pound salmon steelhead fluorocarbon by P-Line. I absolutely love this stuff, you guys. I've been using this. Actually, I switched over to this. I used to use the Maxima Green. But this year I switched over to it, and I really love the action that I'm getting with this line. It's a super thin diameter fluorocarbon, and it doesn't have a lot of float to it, obviously, because it is fluorocarbon, but it does absolutely whip those lures around, those setups around, and that's exactly what we want. I am going to do a rush version of the non-slip mooching rig for you guys. If you want to learn how to tie up this whole entire setup, on my channel, there's a video, how to tie up a non-slip mooching rig. Go over, check it out. It's freaking sick, guys. It's super easy to do. I just put the line down through the eye like that and pinch it, and I do 5 or 6 wraps, whatever suits your fancy, and then I pinch the line against the shank of the hook, and then I go up through the eye, okay? just like that. Give it a nice little snug pull. We should use my shears for that. And then we're gonna grab the second hook, okay? And we're gonna not do that. We're gonna run it up through the eye, just like so. And I like about of 1 full finger spacing in between my hooks, because I want that, we're gonna place that coon shrimp on the top hook, right? And you want that bottom hook to really get buried in that fish when it comes up there to bite that lead hook with the coon shrimp on it. So we're just gonna do another 5 wraps, just like that. We're gonna pinch it, and then we're gonna put it down through the eye, like so, and we're gonna pull it tight, okay? Just gonna simply grab my shears here, put it on that little hook ring, and give it a nice little suck down, just like that. Pop it off, and of course, hashtag trim your tag-ins, please. Then, we have our leader and our non-slip mooching rig, just like so, okay? Now, this is where the ruler comes into play. I like to put my eye of my hook, and then I bring it up to the top. So the top eye of the top hook, okay, I bring it up to exactly 12 inches, and that's going to be where I put my duo lock snap, my bead chain, my swivel, whatever it is you want to use. And this is one simple non-slip mooching rig with a 12-inch leader. A lot of people get stuck running 16, 14s, all the way down to 8. There is no specific magic number, but remember this, you guys. Remember this very carefully. It's very important. A sockeye is an ocean-run kokanee, okay? Do you run 16-inch leaders for kokanee? I'm sure some of you do, 100%. But I'm telling you, they respond a lot better to the shorter leaders than they do the longer leaders. You got to understand, these fish are sporadic, hyperactive, feeding fish, and when they're looking at something that's barely moving through the water with a longer leader versus something that's getting that whip and that action, really creating those instinctual reactions from those fish with a shorter leader. And so in my opinion, going with the 12-inch leader is going to be the safest place if you guys want to be consistently catching sockeye anywhere, in my opinion. Now that we have the mooching rig as well as the leader length, let's get in and start talking about a few other things before we set up these leaders themselves, okay? And let's talk about dodgers. I have dodgers right here. Some may say, oh, those are too small, those are too small. I really do like the 8-inch dodgers. You can get the size 1 herring dodgers. They are pretty hard to come by nowadays. If you're looking for the Lure Jensen ones, you can find them on eBay and so on and so forth. But these Gold Star herring dodgers, size 0, are actually amazing for sockeye. And if you can see, this is a 9-inch sling blade and this is an 8-inch herring dodger. And these are going to be some of my go-tos that I'm going to be utilizing up in the Brewster pool this year. Yeah, don't look at this one. Look how crooked that is. I mean, that's the crookedest tape job I think I could have ever done, but it was my last piece of tape, and so I just couldn't take it off. I just have to roll with it. It's absolutely retarded looking, is what it is though. But hey, these are the type of dodgers you guys are going to want to be using up there in the Brewster pool. As you can see, I have a pink Moon Jelly triple dot on this one. The trend is set, another pink and white. Oh, this is a new one that I really wanted to try this year. A pink holographic sling blade, as well as Moon Jelly. Moon Jelly is a staple for kokanee and sockeye, as well as pink, you guys. Okay, so pink, 8-inch to 9-inch metal herring dodgers or 9-inch sling blades. You can also use your kokanee setups, but remember guys, these are ocean run sockeye, okay? They are not landlocked kokanee. And so when it comes to picking your dodger, pick it for the body of water that you imagine them thriving in. You know, you wouldn't go out and target a 6-inch kokanee with a dodger of this size, although it probably would work. More times than not, you're going to have better success on the smaller dodgers. That's why when we're talking about sockeye here today, choosing a little bit bigger dodger, one that's really gonna get out there and flash in those fish's face, just like tools of bait and other food sources that they utilize in the ocean. Those are the things, or just simply a fish flash, obviously. But those are the things that I want to replicate the most. And that's why you want to go with a little bit bigger metal 8-inch to 9-inch dodger when you are fishing for these sockeye. But enough about dodgers. Let's get into the 3 setups. If I could only pick 3 setups ever to run for sockeye, I would pick these setups. And we're going to set them up just super quick and easy. And we're going to not waste any more time. Right after we set these up, I'm going to go over my coon shrimp, good quality coon shrimp, as well as how to spice those coon shrimp up so you guys can catch a lot more fish and get off that water just a little bit faster. Let's get into it. So again, we have all these leaders that we tied up. They're all going to be 12 inches. I am not fluffing anything here, guys. Every single one of my leaders is going to be 12 inches. I'm not going to adjust anything. I'm going to run 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. Why? Because it's worked for me in the past. It's worked for people right now. It's working for people that I'm talking to on the water that are fishing currently, even though I've yet to go and I'm about to go in a couple of days. 12 inches long. Anyways, we're going to go into the first setup, and I have the Walking on Water pink transparent pink beads right here, and we're gonna grab a few of these out of the bag just like so, and we're gonna set those down. Okay, we're gonna put them on our leaderboard right here in front of us, and then we are going to grab number one of the fishiest setups to ever live. This is a spin and glow, and a spin and glow has been around for years, even decades actually, and this is probably one of the most catching setup lures that you could ever imagine. And all we're going to do is simply just run 2 beads down the line like so. Okay, if I don't drop every single one of them. Just like that. And then we're going to grab our spin glow. Super simple, super easy setups, guys. Okay, and we're going to feed our line up through. We have 2 beads, and I like to go with another bead on top. Makes me feel like it's a little bit more symmetrical. And as you can see, we have an absolute gorgeous sockeye setup right there. Gonna go out and freaking whack them. This is setup number 1, okay? Setup number 1 is done. We're laying it down in front of us, and we are grabbing another leader with the non-slip mooching rig red hooks, and we are going to set up setup number 2. All right, guys, so setup number 2 on the non-slip mooching rig. Everybody should have some sort of hoochie in their arsenal. This happens to be a Walking on Water hoochie. I have heard, though, this year, although hoochies are hyper effective on Baker Lake and Wenatchee, this year, a lot of the bites have come on spinners. So if you are going to look at running something like a hoochie, like this one right here that I'm going to set up, I'm going to show you guys a little trick to make this thing even more effective, okay? So how we're going to run this hoochie, whether it's a Walking on Water hybrid hoochie or it's just a standardized hoochie, we're just going to put 2 beads down the line just like so, okay? 2 beads down the line, we're going to grab our hoochie, and with the Walking on Water hybrid hoochies, you got to pull that skirt back because it's mylar, and then you're going to run the line right up and through the top of that head, and that's going to hang down over the hook just like so. Then I'm going to grab my pink bead that I have right here, and we are going to feed it on the line. Just like that. Nice. Perfect. Then we are going to grab, there is a variety of smile blades that you guys can use. These are both UV glow burst, baby, and these are my go-to for Chinook and sockeye. And what we're going to use, this is a 1.5 Mac Lure Smiley blade, and this is a 1.1 Mac Lure Smiley blade. You can use the 1.5s all day long, but for this setup, since we already have a little bit of bulk going with it, I'm going to grab the 1.1 Smiley blade just like that. And of course, that Moon Jelly is absolute fire. We're just going to slide that down the line. Then you have your UV burst, pink on red hook. Super simple, super easy, you guys. This is an amazing way to get out there and bonk freaking fish on the Brewster pool, okay? These hoochies are going to be absolute killer. Hoochies in general are killer, but if you are not getting bit on the hoochie itself, minus the Smiley blade, okay? So if you're out there running just the hoochie behind, 8 to 12 inch leader, and then you go up, and you're not catching any fish, throw that smiley blade on there and get yourself into a lot more fish. Now, setup number 3, pull it out of our pile of leaders over here. We are going to talk a little bit more about our setups here, and this is one of the go-to setups that people have been catching fish on. I'm gonna grab a couple beads out really fast. If you guys enjoy these videos at all, guys, please smash the like button. Comment down below how many fish have you guys caught this year. Share these videos out to your friends and family. Also, subscribe to the channel. And go over like the Walking on Water business page on Facebook. And if you want to be a part of the community just a little bit more, you can join the private fishing Facebook group, Walking on Water Fishing. We'd love to have you guys there. Post whatever you want about fishing and chat with me. A lot of plans for this summer, guys. This is just the beginning. Okay, now, anyways, we are going to set up a quick little spinner here. And I'm sure every single person already knows how this is going to go. I'm going to use my beads. I'm going to run a fire red Walking on Water bead with a transparent pink Walking on Water bead, and then another fire red, and then a pink, just like so. And as simple as that, guys, just a 3 little bead setup. And then we are going to grab one of our other little goodies over here. We have clevises for our spinner blades. I like running the interchangeable clevises. It just makes my life a lot easier while I'm on the water. I can interchange blades really fast. Say you have a few different blade options to choose from. We're gonna throw that down there just like that. Nice little blade clevis. Then we are going to grab one of the Walking on Water Sockeye blades made by Hook Me Up Lures, my channel's sponsor. And we are going to pop it right into that clevis just like that. This is a 3.0 size blade. It's not a 3.5. This is a Sockeye edition blade. And let's see if we can get it spinning here without twisting up all of our line. And there it is right there. So this is the 3rd cream of the crop setup that you guys can utilize to get out there and absolutely destroy fish. Now, let's get into the 3rd and actual final thing. Well, I say 3rd, it's not really the 3rd, it's more like the 5th, but anyways, whatever it is. Let's get into the coon shrimp, and let's talk how to doctor up those coon shrimp just a little bit after they're already a good quality bait and make it so those fish just can't resist them. Let's get into it. There's a million different good brands of coon shrimp, you guys, okay? Coon shrimp, coon shrimp, coon shrimp, coon shrimp, coon shrimp. And as long as you're brining them up properly, even if you're using the ProCure self-brine, if you're brining those shrimp up properly, you're gonna have a good coon shrimp as long as you do it right. Get enough salt in there, use distilled water, make sure your coloring's right, and make sure that you're rotating these upside down and back up every day in the refrigerator so those coon shrimp on the opposite side don't get soft, and that salt is there to keep curing those coon shrimp up, okay? But I drove down to Tri-Cities to pick up Columbia Basin baits, okay? It's a premium coon shrimp bait. I know it's not millennials, it's not loony coonies. I understand everybody has their bait. This just so happens to be on the way for me when I'm traveling down to the Dalles Hood River, Wind River, so on and so forth, Drano Lake. And I have had great success on their coon shrimp every single time that I've went out. I'm not sponsored by them by any means, but I know this is a good quality coon shrimp that catches fish, okay? So, beyond making sure you have a good quality coon shrimp, and I know you guys have heard this a million times, I'm not going to take these out yet because I've yet to open them. I'm leaving in a day and a half, and so I'm not taking any of these coon shrimp out, but I'm going to walk you through step by step of what you're looking for. If you have a medium-sized shrimp, anything that's 2 inches and plus, you want to rip the tail off the coon shrimp and you want to hook it to your top hook. Now, I like taking the bend in the tail and I grab my hook and I go right down the coon shrimp just like that, right down the bend of the tail. If you have a small coon shrimp, you hook it up the exact same way. You just don't rip off the tail. You throw the whole coon shrimp on if it's like 1 inch or 1 1/4 inch size coon shrimp. That's the size of coon shrimp you're really going to want to use for these setups to go out and absolutely smack sockeye salmon. Now, let's get into a couple things that can absolutely change the game for you guys and get a lot more bites than all your buddies that you're fishing next to. And I'll show you that right now. These are both brand new. I just picked them up specifically for this trip, knowing that we were gonna go. And the first one that you can do, so you're out there fishing, you've been fishing these regular coon shrimp, you're not having a ton of luck. Grab a little bag like this one right here, or if you have Ziplocs on your boat, which you should, right, for fillets and whatnot, grab a couple of the small coon shrimp out, and we're gonna put a little anise and krill in the bag. Let those marinate for about 5 or 10 minutes. Once you change out baits, go ahead. Okay, I'm changing this one out, the hoochie. I'm throwing a new coon shrimp on that top hook. It's a small one, so I'm hooking it down through the angle of the back, just like that, with my anise and krill on it. Now, that's great, that's amazing, but this is one of the most effective ways to get the bait in the water, and it's actually crazy. They have a million different brands of this. A lot of different brands make this kind of powder. This is a pure krill powder. This just so happens to be made by Potski. And what you do with this krill powder is you get your coon shrimp on your hook, just like that. You're looking for the rounding of that tail. You're putting it down through the tail. Then, just like you're seasoning some food, you give it a nice little couple shakes, and you send that thing down in the water. As well as, you can also take coon shrimp, put it in a little bag, aka a Ziploc bag, on your boat while you're out on the water. Take your krill powder, and you can sprinkle that on there. Or you can do it the night before. You have a couple different containers, spread out this, take 10 or 15 out of this big container, put it in a smaller container, and then you can sprinkle your krill powder on it the night before, so that marinates in those coon shrimp overnight, guys. These are just more effective ways to get yourself even more dialed than you already are, to get out on the water on the Columbia River and absolutely smack sockeye in the face like you probably have already been doing. I hope that there was one little thing from this video that you were able to take, if not more, that could help you guys become better anglers out there on the water. Again, this is Walking on Water. I will be at the Brewster Pool here in the next few days, spending some time up there with a good friend, as well as hanging out at the Fallen Outdoors Sockeye event. It's going to be a freaking awesome time, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. God bless you. I will see you on the water.